Following Conor McGregor's assault investigation, the UFC now thinks it can ignore important issues and get away with them. Of course it does. But what's happened now that's causing so much fury? Well, it was revealed recently that the former two-division UFC champion was once again being investigated for assaulting a woman. If you're unaware of some horrific details, McGregor himself invited a woman from his neighborhood in Dublin, Ireland, and apparently she knew McGregor because they lived in the same neighborhood. The woman was later directed to the VIP area of the Ocean Beach Club in Ibiza during his 34th birthday party in July 2022 and had gone with a friend and a Hungarian couple to surprise him and wish him well. She spent a good part of the night there with him and friends they both knew. And then, around 3:30 or 4 in the morning, McGregor decided to leave the bar and go back to his yacht. He asked the woman to come along, and they joined a group of people there. McGregor, his wife, a few other friends, and the victim boarded at dawn. Now, his wife later went to sleep, and that's where things took a rather unexpected turn. Once on the boat, the woman said that McGregor made fun of how she looked, but she swiftly defended herself in front of the pro fighter. However, once that happened, McGregor's behavior changed, and he became very aggressive as time passed by. And a while later, the UFC fighter then allegedly kicked her in the stomach, punched her in the face, and threatened to drown her. And that's not the worst part. The woman literally had to jump off the yacht to get away from McGregor, who said she looked possessed. The yacht was in Formentera at that time, where she caught a jet ski to get away and tried to get on a boat nearby, but she broke her arm in the process, and a Red Cross boat picked her up and took her to the hospital. She also said that she thought McGregor would have killed her if she hadn't gotten off the yacht. That's so horrible. Man, since the poor woman was in a huge shock at the time of the event, no charges were filed. I mean, it makes sense. No one can stay emotionally or mentally strong during these situations, and it's hard to process such things when you're at your most vulnerable. The police mentioned that she was only wearing her bikini when she talked to them, had no money or phone, and wanted to get back to her hotel as soon as possible. Later on, authorities in Ibiza began looking into McGregor when they found out that the woman had told a police station in Crumlin, Ireland about the attack. In fact, the lifeguards who attended her confirmed that they saw McGregor on the deck and they recognized him. The press tried to get the UFC to say something about the latest investigation into McGregor, but they didn't hear back. This silence from the UFC reminds me of the time when UFC president Dana White was caught on video. Yup, that one, where he was hitting his wife Anne on New Year's Eve while on vacation with his family. Now, considering McGregor's past and how serious these new allegations are, it was honestly surprising that the UFC didn't acknowledge that an investigation had been started into McGregor. At the very least, the promotion could have said that they were aware of the investigation and that they were keeping an eye on the results. And if the promotion was feeling especially nice, it could have said something like the organization doesn't allow athletes under contract with the UFC to act in this manner. The UFC could have even talked about the UFC Fighter Code of Conduct, which says that the fighters must act in a way that's consistent with commonly accepted standards of decency, social norms, and morals, and that fighters won't do anything or get involved in anything that'll make them or the UFC look bad or bring shame, contempt, scandal, or disdain to them or the UFC. Instead, the UFC didn't say anything, as expected. But McGregor's representatives told MMA Mania that he's firm in his denial of all the accusations made by that woman on the boat. Also, after what happened with White, some people thought that the UFC would pay more attention to reports of violence against women, and the fact that the UFC hasn't done anything about the report about McGregor must be upsetting to those people. Look, I'm not saying that McGregor should lose his job before the case is sorted out, but the fact that the promotion's second biggest star, after White himself, is being investigated for another violent act shows that the UFC's main goal is to keep the machine going and to ignore anything that gets in the way. And the victim even provided a big chunk of data on the people who accompanied her at all times and were at that party. The magistrate in charge of the case ordered her provisional file after she refused to testify in the civil guard. I honestly think if the UFC has a mission statement that isn't written down, it might be, if we ignore it, it'll go away. But this whole situation is riddled with so many inconsistencies that it doesn't just end there. In early January, the car of the same woman who had filed a complaint against McGregor was set on fire. And I wonder who did it. Irish police confirmed that a fire in the Drimnagh neighborhood of Dublin was likely set on purpose. The statement mentioned that police are looking into the details of the incident that happened at 10 p.m. on Thursday, January 19th, 2023. But gladly, no one got injured during it. The investigation is currently going on, and nobody has been caught at this point. Most people are pointing their finger at McGregor. Well, obviously, but apparently the woman sued McGregor in Dublin's High Court over the alleged yacht incident the day after the car fire. In the case, the woman is asking the court to protect any CCTV footage, camera phone footage, or other physical evidence that could back up her claims of assault. And I hope she gets justice soon when the court is going to hear that civil case. Now, many people on social media have said the victim should have signed a formal statement back when she told the police about the assault, but I guess she must have been scared, knowing that he's quite powerful and might come after her. And that's exactly what he did. Well, I mean, no one's completely sure so far. It's still a he said, she said type of situation right now. But anyway, the Irish police have since sent that statement to their Spanish counterparts. And because of this, Spanish police are looking into the case again. Now, here's another thing that I've been wondering about. Most recently, McGregor settled with Michael Chiesa and other UFC fighters who were hurt in the loading area of Barclay Arena in New Jersey. Apparently, he threw a dolly through the window of a bus carrying fighters in April 2018. The former two-division UFC champion has also been accused of assaulting an Italian DJ in October 2021 and of a sexual assault in Corsica. He was never charged or arrested for it, and for a sexual assault in Dublin. The last time McGregor fought for the UFC was in 2021. In the same year, he lost twice to Dustin Poirier, both times by punches. And in his second loss to Poirier, he broke his leg. Since then, he hasn't been able to fight. And I definitely think it's karma. Anyway, that's all for Conor and the UFC for now. See you in the next one.